I'm John Woo, the director of MI2. It was about 2.5 years ago when I was making a Nike commercial in Brazil, and then I got a call from Tom. He called me from London, so he wanted to set up a meeting in London. I was pretty surprised. And then I flew over to London to meet him, and I've seen his family. It's really nice to me. And then he offered this project to me. I was pretty shocked.
Well, Dimitri, every search for a hero must begin with something that every hero requires.
I've never dreamed to make a spy movie, and especially Mission Impossible.
In a search for our hero,
Because I just felt the first one was so good and so stylish, and I think Brian De Palma did a great job on this film. He's a great master of suspense, and he made the movie so wonderful. And I didn't want to compare with it, but Tom said to me, it's gonna be a different movie. All he wants is my style. He loved Face Off, he loved all of my Hong Kong film, and he wanted this one different. And then he also been talking about he wants every episode have a different style from a different director. That made me feel relaxed. And then he said that this is a completely new story. There's no need to connect with the first one, and no need to worry about the original TV series. So I have no worry. I could see it as my own movie. The movie is all about character, all about romance and humanity, and then I would love to do it. And I didn't want to do some high-tech thing or the special effect because I'm not good at it. And I want to see this movie as a little more human and very dramatic. And Tom, he likes the idea, and he totally agreed with me. And then he and the writers and Robert Tang came up with a triangle love story, which really interests me.
You can carry them together? Safely?
yes.
And so that's why I accept this project.
Thank God.
This is your captain again.
I always dreamed to work with Tom Cruise, such a great filmmaker, such a great actor. Before Mission Impossible, we had another project to work together in mind. The project called The Devil Soldier, but somehow that project didn't work out, and he offered this one to me.
Not so far. Just put on your oxygen mask. I'll see what's going on.
The idea was evil hiding behind a beautiful face. And actually, the whole scene, the whole idea came from Robert Tang.
Denver Center, this is Transpac 2207-747 Heavy.
For a spy movie, I wanted to have a very suspenseful, scary opening. I wanted to shock the audience, and I wanted to make the audience totally surprised. So, and then we have been thinking for quite a long time to make a shocking moment. Since the movie is about good and evil, we are using some kind of a face-off, the makeup thing, to do that. And then Bob Tom came with the ideas. So we start with Tom Cruise and as Ethan Hunt, trying to make the audience believe this is real Ethan Hunt. So, and then things happen. All of a sudden, Tom Cruise, he takes the mask off and then reveals Ambrose, reveal the evil, And that's a wonderful idea. I was really happy about it.
It seems we have a problem, Dimitri.
You keep calling me Dimitri. You really shouldn't.
You are Dimitri.
And then also got a double meaning is that it's like the evil hiding behind beautiful face. And then also a little bit of good and evil. They swap their identity, So, and also a little bit tied in my movie, The Face Off. It's pretty interesting and very suspenseful and also pretty shocking as well. So I love this scene so much, and also we did a little experiment for the scene, like for the face-off shot. Usually, we will shot it pretty static. This kind of shot for the camera, usually they shot it in a static and doesn't move. I like to do it all in one shot. I would like to see Ethan Hunt, he getting up and the camera moving around to his face, see him, speaking dialogue, and then he takes his face off and reveal the red scarf. I did it all in one shot. It's a very critical and difficult to do it. If a shot without move, it's much more easier. If the camera is moving, it will cost a lot of time, a lot of money, and did it frame by frame. And I must say, Richard, the special effects supervisor, did a fantastic job for this shot. Something interesting about Tom's makeup. I was suggesting for Tom's first appearance, he was a short hair. It's the same look as the first one. Short hair, clean, and a little cold and handsome, so that kind of look. And then after he takes his face off, reveal Ambrose, it's gonna be a shock the audience. And then come to the next scene for the rock climbing, he got long hair that make the audience feel, oh, this is totally different Ethan Hunt. It's a new image for our hero, But I think the scene is still very effective, Original idea was just right after the plane crash and it caused a huge explosion. And from the explosion, dissolving into the match, light off, and then cut to the fuse and came up the main title, just like same as the first one. But somehow Tom didn't feel it's that exciting. I said, how about after the plane crash, straight cut to the smash cut to the rock climbing? And I thought that's a pretty good idea. And then put the main title after the rock climbing scene. So because the main title is for Ethan Hunt, not for the bad guy, so that's why we had to move it around. So after we cut to the rock climbing scene, to reveal the true Ethan Hunt and also to introduce a new kind of character for Tom Cruise, make the audience feel another surprise. And then for the scene, it's a very scary and also it's the most challenging scene I've ever made. The cliff was 2,000 feet high and there was no protection on the ground, and Tom had to do all the stunt by himself. He need to climbing up to the cliff, and he need to do the jump. He jumped several times and hanging up on the cliff, with two hands. It was pretty scary. The scary thing was Tom wanted to do all the stunt by himself. I was very scared, worried, and panicked. Because there was a shot that we need seeing Tom jumping from the wall to the ridge, did all in one shot. And that shot I was set for the stunt double to do it. But Tom was insisted to do it by himself. We had a pretty long argue about it because I tried to stop him, but it didn't work. Tom said he liked the challenges. He liked to do something he had never done before. And he had never liked cheating. And he told me whenever he watched the action movie, he said it could easily to tell which shot was done by stunt double, which shot was done by the actor, because the body movement, the timing, the performance will never match. And he didn't want to see it happen, and I let him do it, and then I was very scared, and by the meantime, I was scared of height, so I would stay away from the cliff 20 feet way behind, and then when Tom did a jump shot, I couldn't bear to watch it, I kept closing my eye and praying. I wouldn't dare to watch the monitor. After the shot done, and I yelled, "How's Tom? It's okay," because from my angle, I only could see a little piece of Tom. When he did the jump, and all of a sudden he disappeared. And I wasn't sure he was land on the right spot or not. And I was worried about the cable only for safety. It wasn't set for the action, So after he disappeared, I yelled, "Hey, how's Tom?" But Tom, he yelled me back from the middle of the cliff. He said, "I'm fine, don't worry. I want to do one more time, And then he did 5, 6, 7 times until we got a perfect shot. That really scared me and also made me so much admire him, I admire his courage. He's a man who has no fear. But in the meantime, the scene is very important for his character. We want to establish our hero. He's just like one of the young men, in the world. He had a great passion about life, about love, and he really cared about the people. Also, he enjoys nature, and it's a very open, happy, normal young man, So that's why we came up with the idea for the rock climbing. The rock climbing really could show his courage and his charm. Tom loved the scene and everybody loved the scene. And then after he come up to the hill, and then after he come up to the top, Then came the helicopter, fired the rocket. For the rocket, he got a sunglass. And from the sunglass, he got a mission, So we have been struggling for this idea. For the traditional Mission Impossible, Ethan Hunt usually get the message from the tape recorder. And then for the tape recorder, it seems to be so old and it's not interesting. And then also, I must say that I don't remember it was the writer's idea or Tom's idea. They were suggesting using a sunglass. That make it feel a little more high tech and more modern. Which was a pretty good idea, but, and then we do some animation on the sunglass and also make the sunglass more, computerized. We almost lose the scene because of the budget time concern. We did try to shoot it in a simple way, but we were so lucky and, we had never give it up, So I'm so glad that we got a scene and also got a pretty good impact about the sunglass. We had decided this is the love story. And we have been figuring out, where do we start the romance, and what country, we have been thinking for quite a while. We have been thinking Rome, Russia, or even Malaysia. We had to figure out a country really could represent the romantic and passion. We have to find a very interesting city, can have the romantic feel. And then somebody suggests Italy, and then me and Tom was so much fond of Spain, and we love the music, we love the arts, and the whole atmosphere in Spain. And we thought that Spain is a very romantic country, as the people are so friendly and so passionate, and the music was so sexy and romantic as well. So that's why we decided the romance should be start from Spain. And then we flew over to Spain and did a lot of research. I was so much crazy about the flamenco dance. And I think that the flamenco dance, very romantic, emotional, also quite an impact. The dress, the color, and so beautiful, and dance, and so sexy in some way. So I would suggest using the flamenco dance as a theme. And also using the flamenco dance to bring the two love, Ethan Hunt and Naya, and bring them together. And also, I like the rhythm. I like the very strong flamenco dance rhythm. They're using the footstep, and the rhythm is so strong and so full of great energy. So that really excites us. I try to use the sound of the footstep as a to represent, Tom and Tandy's heartbeat, and also use the kind of sound for the car chase scene. During the car chase, we're also using the flamenco dance, guitar music, and the sound of the footstep. And the footstep and getting stronger and stronger, and the car chase are getting much more crazier, and it feels so much of energy and romantic, And then I came up with the ideas, of the flamenco dance, and also to make Tandy's character as a thief. In the original script, she was one of the spy or something like that. I think a spy is not interesting. And the spy is not charming at all, I want the girl, she's a normal, and she's a civilian, and she's a thief, but she's a good thief. And the idea came from Audrey Hepburn's movie called How to Steal a Million. Because I would like to see Tandy have a little bit charm like Audrey, while she do the heist and try to steal some kind of jewel. And then Tom came from behind helping her, and all of a sudden they both trapped into the bathtub. And that's going to be very funny. Because I wanted to make the scene just like one of the Gary Grant or Peter O'Toole and Audrey Hepburn, Ingrid Bergman, they kind of a sitcom thing, So, and I try to use that to establish these two characters. They both are very charming, and they both are lovable and romantic. That's going to make it totally different from the first one. So everybody so much fond of this idea, and Robert Tang, he came up with some very funny dialogue for the bathtub scene. And Tom and Tandy, they got a great chemistry, I always feel like for the love story, it should be start with a little bit of romance and also a little bit of a comedy. They feel much more interesting and more modern. I'm so glad that we could have Tandy Newton, because we have been looking for this cast for quite a long time. We had interviewed so many stars, so many good actors. We tried to find someone who had a similar quality of Audrey Hepburn, or a little bit like Ingrid Bergman, We had a meeting in London with me, Tom, and Tandy, and then we have found Tandy. She's so charming, so cute, and she's extremely smart. And by the meantime, she's just exactly similar quality of Audrey Hepburn. And she looks so elegant. That's what we need. Elegant and sexy, and smart. And then to pair with Tom, it just looked like the golden couple and the very charming couple, So we are very excited about her. And then we did a little bit of rehearsal before we start shooting. And we put Tom and Tandy in front of the camera. And they made up some line and do some little drama, And we have found they were just perfect. They looked so natural and so lovely. We also got a lot of inspiration from both of them because of their charm. That also give us a lot of good idea for the how to design the romantic scene and the car chase scene and not make it traditional.
No, tranquilo.
Mr. Keith, it's you. It is Mr. Keith, our security engineer. Apologize.
No need to apologize. Now, Miss Hall, my associate, has your necklace.
Usually, I like to make the movie have a little bit of a European touch, no matter the music or the mood or the camera work or the framing. I want to make it look like a European film, that kind of feeling.
Under the circumstances, I think we'd recommend resetting the sensors to respond to a lighter load. How do you feel about 40 kilos, Miss Hall?
Perfect.
We want the movie to have the sexy feeling, but it's not necessary to see the real sex. Not because of the rating, because we all want this movie to look a little more elegant, in every way. No matter the action, the sex, the love, or the good and evil, the thing. We want the whole tone, the whole movie, look in an elegant way. So, elegant, romantic, that kind of feeling. So it's not necessary to see everything fairly. In the best scene there, we just make the audience know, they're already in love, they have a very great conversation, it's funny, and then they get into the mission, kind of thing.
Now be serious. Whatever it is you're talking about, you couldn't possibly want me off tonight.
You didn't do that, Ben.
After the party scene, that Tom tried to convince Tandy. In the original script, there were only both of them talking in the room. But I just feel it's pretty boring. The scene, was just only Tom saying something about this and that, and then I tried to convince her to work together, and then somehow they were in love and they slept together. I think it's pretty boring, and all I want is something a little more energy, more romance. So I came up with the idea of the car chase. We plan everything before we start shooting. Imagine this scene gonna be romantic and sexy, and also very symbolism. When I was working on a storyboard, so we work out the whole scene, and we already see it from the storyboard. The original idea was a lot more happening. A lot of cars involved. Some of the cars flip overside. And some of the have been slammed into the cliff. And Tom and Tandy's car, and Tom almost go off to the cliff, and half of the car was fall off to the cliff, but still driving. Some little dangerous shot. But it was a pity we didn't have enough time to shoot it. But in the meantime, it was pretty scary for Tandy Newton. Because she's English, she drives on the other side, and she never get used to the left side driving. So we have our stunt coordinator, who was hiding in a passenger seat. One hand grab hold the brake, and one hand pretty close to the driving wheel, So just in case something happened, and he can stop the car right away. So how all the stunts are for crazy driving. But she was very smart. She just get used to it for a couple of days, and then she drove pretty well. I was thinking of Tom and Tandy, they both on convertible, and they chasing each other and slamming and bumping each other, and at the end, somehow Tandy's car getting into the danger, almost fall off the cliff, and Tom's car walking her, save her, this sort of scene. I think the car chase will look much more interesting than seeing the two people speaking in the room. And also, I wanted to make a scene like To Catch a Thief, or How to Steal $1 Million. They kind of one of a Gary Grant movie. And also want a scene to look a little more sexy. Like when they car bumping each other and then they spinning around and do the 360 spinning around. It just feel like making love, And then after the spinning and when Tandy followed to the cliff and then Tom saved her, it seems to be the love come to the end and they both fall of each other. The whole scene, I just feel like it's just funny, sexy and romantic. When I'm designing an action sequence, I usually like to listen to the music. And the music usually give me a lot of inspiration and how to get into the rhythm, how to get the idea of the action, So when I designed the car chase scene, I was listening to The Windmill of Your Smile, so I could get the mood and also could get the romanticism, that all came from the song. So we were so lucky to have Tom Sanders as a production designer. He's a great guy. He did Dracula, Braveheart, Saving Private Ryan. He's just incredible. So in this movie, all I want is to make it look like more warm and passionate. So he came up with the idea of a color. He was suggesting using more of red, orange, and green as a key color. That will make a totally different from the first one. The first one was a little cold and have a blue lighting, and even though the set are pretty dark, But I want this one a little more charm, more open, more warm, and more passion. The thing I like about Tom Sanders, all of his designs, is it looks so real. Because he like realistic. He like everything look real and also have the great passion feeling. He made model for every set, so we could figure out about the camera angle and the atmosphere, the lighting, and how everything worked.
What am I doing?
And I also wanted every scene in Spain. They're all moving. So a lot of camera movement and the special lighting to make every scene looks pretty much like a dancing. No matter the party scene or the car chase, the balcony scenes, everything. Whenever we see Spain, it's all moving. It's more pretty much like a ballet dancing. So that's how I try to get the romantic feel of the film. For Swanbeck, Ethan Hunt's boss, we were trying to cast the English actor Ian McKellen. But somehow he had a schedule problem because he was working on a play and we all like him so much. He's just such a great actor. But somehow his schedule didn't work out. We also have a schedule problem because we got to shoot a scene right away. And we're trying to figure out to use some of the actors. And we had a hard time to get the right choice. And then all of a sudden, the producer, Paula Wagner, he came to me and said, "Hey, John, some very exciting, news for you." I said, what is it? He said, Anthony Hopkins wanted to do this part. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. I was so surprised. I said, you must be kidding. I said, it's impossible. I said, no. She said that Anthony called her. He really wanted to do this part. And then Tom, he confirmed Mr. Hawkins is going to come. I was so nervous. Because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights and try to figure out, how to work with him. I've never worked with him before, and I didn't know that much about him. That's the problem. And then the day he came, he was such a nice gentleman. He was so humble and so charming. And when he came in and said he shook hands with everyone and greeting everyone, and I call him sir, but he said, please call me Tony. It kind of, it made me so, relaxed. And, he was so happy to be on the set. He said he's a big fan of Mission Impossible. He loved Mission Impossible. He loved Tom Cruise, and he liked my movie. And all he just wanted to be a part of the movie. And he was very happy. And then we talked about the scene, and then I was shaking, holding the pages of the script, making a noise, saying, and he comforted me, always smiling, have a lot of great patience. And then he listened to me, and we had just a little discussion, and then he do the scene. He made a simple scene a lot more interesting. He made a character more solid and also pretty much like a father figure, He's a great boss and, he cares about his own people, he's a very kind man. He's a real gentleman. He had never asked any question, never tried to give anybody a hard time, and he always listened and he just do whatever we want. And he was very cooperative, very professional and very creative. He made his character full of life, and he made every dialogue so much interesting, and also bring a lot of a good laugh, from his dialogue and from his great performance. He's a man we deserve. We get everybody respect. He's a very good man. He seems to have a lot of great energy. He never get tired. In the scene, we have some kind of a lighting problem and focus problem. We have to reshoot a lot of shots. So every day he keep repeating, doing the same thing, saying the same things until we got the perfect shot. Because the lighting is pretty critical because we were shot in with the anamorphic format. So the lighting, it got a very detailed and also more of a contrast. So you need a lot more time to do the perfect light. So, and he had got a lot of great patience. He had never complained. Suppose it was planned for 2 days work, but we extended to 5 days because we have been trying to do some different kind of lighting to make a scene work. So, and he finished the whole scene without saying anything, and he had so much joy working with us. And I also pretty surprised that he has seen the most of my Hong Kong film, and he also like Face Off so much. So when we get together, we seems to be like an old friend. Sometimes he talk about my style, and I also find out he loved action movie. He wanted to do an action film. I was totally surprised. I hope one day I could work with him again in an action role. I admire him so much. He's such a great actor and also a great human being.
Or do that. He's monitoring.
Since we already got Spain as the start of the romance, so we have to figure out to find another city to compare with Spain. And then we have to figure out to find another city to make a contract with Spain. And then we have been thinking Tokyo, Malaysia, Hong Kong, or even Shanghai, whatever. Tom came up with the idea. He said, how about Sydney? I feel, oh, great, because I've been to, Sydney and I find that this looks so beautiful and elegant, and the people were so friendly. And by the meantime, all the buildings are so modern, and I also like the harbor. It's really could feel the contract with Spain. The Spain is so traditional, romantic, and lots of flower and color. The economy looks totally different. So that's why we decided using Sydney as a choice. So, and also try to using the Sydney to extend the romance, but the romance come to another level. It's the romance with the evil, with the devil, so it's a totally different feeling. On the other hand, I must say that we were so lucky to have Douglas Scott. He's a wonderful actor. The thing we like about him is he had a great feature, and his face was so much of a character. He looked evil, but by the meantime, he has a wonderful eyes. What we like about him is his eyes tell us so much of story. His eyes look so sad, so emotional, and so charming. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We were looking for some charm within a evil face. He just got it. And by the meantime, he's a fine actor. He's so much a professional, and he also have the elegant look. It's not like a typical bad guy, that kind of thing. All I want is good and evil. They both very emotional. And then we also put the three of them together. We just feel it's a wonderful match, But in the meantime, we try to keep the traditional Mission Impossible theme, We team him up with Ving Rhames, who played Luther in the film, and also John Paulson. John Paulson was a recruit from Australia. He's the mechanic and a fighter. Luther is a scientist and great computer guy, And these two images will create a lot of funny moment and also so much of a character. And then Ving Rhames and John Paulson and Tom Cruise, the three of them became a wonderful team.
In a bit of a hurry. I'm incredibly grateful, Sean. How in the world did you find me?
How I usually find you, Naya. Magic.
Besides Douglas Scott, we were so happy to have Richard Roxburgh, the fine Australian actor who played Douglas Scott's sidekick. He's a wonderful man, a wonderful actor, and also is a wonderful human being. And in his real life, is totally different from the screen, you know. He's stage director and actor as well. From his part, we try to do some interesting thing, and he like to play with the accents. Sometimes he want to like to play some American accents or South African accents or Australian accents, and he did it pretty well. And he made this character a lot more interesting. And I must say that the triangle love story was inspired by Hitchcock's film Notoria. In that film, it's also about the good and evil, they both in love with the same girl. But in this movie, we try to have a little more, not only about love and also about how to saving the world. We want to make it a little more romantic and charming, you know.
We just rolled up a snowball and tossed it into hell. Now we'll get past that.
Besides the romance, we also try to play a little more of a suspense in a love story. So, Tandy have been saying in going back to his old lover, it seems like we're sending her back to hell. But the thing is that
I'm dying to see if
we don't know what really she's thinking. Is she going to be honest to Tom, or is she going to betray him? So that's very suspenseful, and that make the love scenes also very interesting. So I did intend to tune it down with Tandy and Douglas love scene and the rest of the scene, and try to bring it down and not to tell much of the story and make the audience wondering, is she going to betray Tom or suffering something or whatever, you know, just to leave the question mark. So, and then leading the audience follow the story, and then when they get into the bioside scene, and then you will see her art, her change. And then they will give the audience a totally surprise, and then you will know who is the real love for Tandy and who she really love, you know. This is a great moment for Tom. You know, he's thinking of Tandy, and he doesn't know what happened to her. And it's a very clever idea for using the old Greek myth as symbolism for a theme. In the story, Chimera represents the virus, and Bellerophon represents the antivirus. It has double meaning. For my thinking, is Bellerophon is Tom Cruise. Chimera is Douglas Scott. The good and evil is a very clever idea for using the Greek myth as a metaphor. And that make the good and evil things more interesting. That make them the fight, the conflict in between the good and evil, they're all in a myth, you know. So it just feel like a legend, you know.
And Bellerophon.
It's a new experiment for me, and try to play the suspense in a love story, or instead of a spy thing, you know. I want the audience more involved with the emotion and the love story rather than a spy.
7 million.
Because for my thinking, I didn't see this is a spy movie. All I see is a love story. When I'm making the film, I just feel like I'm making Dr. Zhivago, you know. So I've never cared about the spy thing. I've never cared about the heroic thing. You know. I just do what I feel. I just see what I see. So when I'm making the scene, I just concentrate on the scene, you know. So all I care is about the character and the story. For some moment, I just forget about, this is the Mission Impossible, or this is a spy movie. Spy movies should be doing things like that, and the camera should be set up like this and that, and all the design gotta be suspenseful, you know. But that's not me, you know. So I just pretty much focus on the love story. I think that will make this movie will look so much different from the others.
She wasn't exactly gagging for it when it left you 6 months ago.
Before we start shooting, me and Tom, we all agreed to make a PG-13 film. I must tell you, this is my first PG-13 movie I've ever made. We are very careful about everything. So no matter the action or the drama or everything, we got to so much careful about it. And I also need to tune down about the violent thing. And I also need to tune down the bullet hit and the body counts. The whole movie is all about love, it's not about violence. So, we just wanted to keep the excitement of the action, and without feeling grossy or too much violence. We have so many problems for shooting this scene. We have the major weather problem, always raining, and we have the continuity problem with the lighting. So sometimes we got a sunny day, sometimes you got rain, sometimes it's pretty dark, so we have to use some kind of a special lighting to light up everything to try to keep the continuity. And then we have to reshoot a lot of a scene and a lot of a shot, cause it's pretty painful. We had the second unit to shot all the race scene, horse running, that kind of thing. I love slow motion. Slow motion sometimes can show the beauty of the action and also will make the shot look so much of like a painting and poetry. When I shoot a scene, when I'm making the action sequence, I would like to use a different speed and a different camera movement to get a shot. Like, if I have the 3 or 4 cameras, one camera maybe use 120 frame, and the second camera maybe a 60 frame. The third camera maybe a 30 frame, and the main camera stay on 24 frame. After I get all the shot at all the different speed, and then I work it out in the cutting room. So when I cut a scene, I like to base on the music. So I cut with the music. And then I follow the rhythm, follow the pace, and then make the choice. If the pace goes for a little more stronger, I would like to use the 120 frame shot or that little piece, put it into that section. And then before that, I might use another angle for 60 frame, and then put everything all together, make it feel like musical. Also, slow motion also will give me a lot of a strong impact, like the horse racing. I want to see the energy. I want to see the beauty of the horse running.
Just about.
I want to see the muscle. I want to see the hair floating in the air, So, I shot the whole horse race shot with 120 frame. But in the meantime, when we cut into the scene, I need a very strong sound effect. So I would like to start with the slow motion, all the horse running out in slow motion, and then I emphasize the great sound effect, and they will draw a lot more of attention. They will make the audience, sit up in the chair. Oh, what happened? What's going on? That kind of feeling.
Bids from possible Chimera buyers.
Everyone's making some blocks in the bar.
The whole scene is about betrayal, love, and hate, and suspense. So it's a very complicated scene to shoot. It's not only involved with love, and also our hero will get the most important information from the scene. So it gotta be very suspenseful. So that's why I would like to intercut with the horse race, with the drama, and then it will draw a lot more of attention. And also make the scene feel more intense. But in the meantime, the scene also really show the teamwork on the Mission Impossible, like John Paulson and Ring Ring and Tom, the 3 of them, and even Tandy Newton, they all work together and try to get that information done. They have a lot of different elements and all in one scene. That's a pretty new experiment to me. We had spent about 4 or 5 weeks to cut the scene. It was pretty long. Because we have been moving around and try so many different things, and I try to using the cutting to get the suspense and get the pace. And by the meantime, wanted to have some kind of a romantic moment. It's very critical. Sometimes, if for the suspense, you gotta go fast. But for the romance and love, you gotta slow down a little bit. For the crisis, for the danger, you gotta have a little more detail to see, okay, the bad guy is coming, But Tom and Tandy scene is not finished yet. So how to hold the suspense and how to deliver the romance is pretty critical. So that's why we took so much time to cut the scene.
Higher.
When Tom looking at the camera got the information of the virus, and so the scene is from his camera transfer the information to Luther's computer, and then what the audience see is the virus and the horrible death of the professor. I mean, this scene is a pretty strong impact. In the original idea, in this scene, we only saw a little bit of the virus and not the whole thing, because we have another scene is we will let the audience to see the whole thing later. But somehow Tom and I just feel like, how about let's just see the whole thing in this scene, and then I cancel the other one. If you saw the whole thing in this scene, that will make the audience feel a lot more of scary and more frightening. I must say it's a pretty good idea, so, and then we cancel the other one and then put all the information all in this scene and then let the audience see what had happened to them and what was the chimera thing look like. And it looks pretty horrifying and also got a pretty good impact.
Wow.
I hate casting process. It always bothered me. And I have never liked it, because I'm the man that it's hard to say no. Sometimes it's so sad for me, but for my theory, whoever could come into the room, they're all talented. They're all good, and it's so difficult to make a choice. When you see somebody, they're all looking for a chance and they all wanted to be part of the movie so eagerly. And then, he says no to him. If I feel very sad, just feel like I say no to my kids. Whenever they ask for me, I just give them everything, whatever they need, I usually spend not much time on casting. I usually let the casting manager to find the right one and then, present to me. I rather like to, just talk with them. And I hate to see them, reading, I think they're all very good, So, but we only need one choice, that's a big problem. The way I work with the actors, I usually like to spend some time with them, to talk with them. I need to see how they feel about everything, how they feel about life and what they like and what they love, what they hate. And I also like to listen to their story. And, during the conversation, I would like to watch their face, their eyes, and try to find out the special quality from them. And then to figure out to use the proper camera angle to bring out the great quality on the screen. And by the meantime, I like them to put the real experience from life, put it into the scene, into the character, and that make the performance looks more real, more touching. I love actors. I love performers. I like to see the great performance on the screen. I think the actors is the most important thing in the movie. They are the soul of the movie. So I respect them a lot, and also work with the actors with love. I see everyone as a part of my family. I see them as a friend. Sometimes I see them as my own children. So since you have so much love on them, and then you will know how to take good care of them. I like to take good care of my actors. I want them to look great on the screen, no matter it's a big star or a supporting role or even an extra. I all want to make them look good on the screen. So sometimes I'm not making a movie. I just feel like I'm making an idol, and also sometimes I feel like I'm making a documentary. I just want the actors, to bring out their experience on the screen.
Of influenza. To create a cure for all influenzas. We were also creating a disease so terrible in Chimera. The cure would be I needed Chimera in order to peddle Bellerophon. It's not that difficult to understand, is it? Look, I've got the virus, you've got the cure. I need them both. Time was a shot of penicillin would knock off every bloody bug in the zoo. Not anymore.
The way I work with the actors, I usually like to give them a lot of creative freedom, and I like them to improvise the dialogue and changing, something. And I respect the ideas, and I try to find a way to work it out, try to find a way to work into the scene. And I like instincts. I like they do everything by their own instinct, and I hate rehearsal. I've never liked to do any rehearsal in advance. On a set, all I need is just a rough rehearsal and, walk around on the set and make everybody understand what the scene about and make everybody feel comfortable on the staging. And then we just shoot it. I like happening. I like something unexpected thing happen. In Face Off, even in this movie, I also did the same thing with Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, Tom Cruise, and Douglas Scott, and everyone. I have never liked to give any instruction to the actors.
All I need.
We just have a little discuss about the scene, about the mood, about some emotional thing, and then they're on their own. So I need them to give me surprise, and instead of I surprise them, I would like to choreography some good staging, for the actors, to leading them, to deliver the great performance. For the drama scene, usually I need a couple takes, and I hate to do more than 5. I think the first couple shots real and natural. Some actors want to do more, and they don't mind to do 20 times, 30 times. But I think if they do more, it will become more mechanic. All I want is natural and real. So I think the first couple shots is good enough for me. Like John Travolta said, that whenever he came to the set, he just feel like he came for vacation and feel so much relaxed, so much easy to work with me. Oh, John only need 1 or 2 takes. So I've got a nickname. What they call me is One Shot John. I also work the same way in Hong Kong, because sometimes I just feel like I'm a painter. As a painter, it's hard to explain to the audience or to anyone how I feel, how I'm going to work. Until I see the real thing, then I could tell you, okay, this is right, this is wrong, and maybe this is a little too much, or this is not enough, I usually will let the actors do it first, and then I will, I think that is fine, I think okay. Usually, I'm not going to say much, I just love whatever they do, even though the shot wasn't that perfect, even the performance wasn't that enough, but I could work it out in a cutting room. I do know the editing magic, I could put a thing together and do a little trim here and change the shot there, without losing the great performance, and also make them look even better. Sometimes when I need to communicate with the actors or even the cameraman, I would like to use the music to express my feeling, If the actor, didn't get the mood, didn't get the feeling of the scene, and then I will play the music for them, let them to get into the mood and also get in fake performance, and get into the good emotional expression. Even though the cameraman, sometimes I told them, okay, the camera from moving from here to there and the speed going to be like this and that, And if they couldn't get it, and then I will play the music for them. I said, just follow the beat. Just follow the rhythm. Then you will get the idea. So the camera crew, they were wearing the headset and then listen to the music and they're moving the camera and follow the music. That's how I work. And even though the action sequence, like a fist fight at the end of the movie, I was thinking some strong impact, for the fist fight. I would play the rock and roll music, I love music and I love to use the music in so many ways. I know the kind of music for the scene. Every scene, different music. Sometimes it's a classical music like a Swan Lake or Mozart's music or Wagner. Sometimes jazz, sometimes rock and roll, and all kind of music, Well, sometimes I really feel like I'm making a musical, and especially the action sequence. When I design the action sequence, I usually listen to the music. For a drum machine, I also need to listen to some kind of a mood music, to try to get the right mood and a feeling, We have 4 things, put them together. The second unit shot the helicopter fly around the building on the roof, and the stunt double hanging outside the helicopter, We shot all Tom's jump on green screen. And then we built a platform about 80 feet high. Tom on a cable, so he need to drop from 80 feet and descending into the camera, And then we CG everything, moving background and the city and the helicopter, the all CG in. So it means that Tom still need to do the real jump, from the very high place. It's scary also. The original idea was that Tom needed to jump from outside the building. The idea was Tom coming down from high and Ambrose Kane coming up from the bottom. Tom is a little faster and ahead of them, and get into the building and do the job. But somehow we couldn't get the permission, so we have to move inside. And then I came up with the idea, so how about a drop into the shaft, descending down into the building. But in the meantime, the way I work with the composers, I usually would like to create the theme music in advance. It means I would like to get the theme music before we start shooting.
Yeah, well, when's that?
Not for another 5.5 minutes.
That will give me a lot of good inspiration, and more feeling. If they couldn't do that, at least in half of the movie, in half of the shooting, they get the music, and then it would really help me. Like in this movie, we have been spent some time stay in Spain and looking for the wood, looking for the music. And then I find the guitar. The guitar really get the passion and the romance. So Hans Zimmer and I, they were suggesting using the guitar as a theme music. While we were shooting in Australia, he brought in the guitars. He was from Brazil. And then we create on a set. So he came up some tone and came up the romantic tone. And then we tried a couple times and he just got it, That made me could get the real passion about the movie. So that's very important to me. And then I also use the theme music for the car chase as well. In the car chase scene, we were thinking using the flamenco dance and the guitar music for the whole scene. That's how we got the rhythm and the passion.
0 contaminant factor.
The Two Guns idea came from the Western, like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, or John Wayne's film, even some gangster film, they're also using the two guns. So while I was making the Hong Kong film called A Better Tomorrow, there was a scene is our character, he entered into the restaurant and there were 15 guys in the room. And I was thinking, one gun is not enough to bring down the 15 guys. And then I was thinking, how about two guns? There was a first big gun battle movie for me. So I asked the props guy, demonstrate how to use a tool gun, for me. And I said, I like to use a tool gun, feel like a machine gun. I like the continuous firing and also have some kind of the musical drum beat feeling. And then the guy, they keep demonstrating the tool gun. I feel very interesting. I give a tool gun for my hero and he go into the room and, shoot the 15 guy in the tool guns. And then he also played another tool guns, outside of the corridor. After he empties the tool guns and he grabbed another two, shoot again. Tom, he liked this kind of action that he always wanted to do in a film. In the bioside, I also give him two guns. He just did like a Chow Yun-fat, he dive in the air and slide on the ground and shooting with two guns. And he did it so beautifully. And he find so much fun for doing that. And we also have to try very hard to do the cut to make the scene not that over, but still keep the great excitement for the action, and didn't lose any impact. Besides destroying the virus, I think the main theme of the scene is about love and hate. And also it is Tandy Newton's a great moment. We have been established a long suspense for the audience, and we didn't know what this girl thinking, and was she betrayed Tom or honest to Tom, and which one she loved more. There's so many questions, and then when we come to this scene, the audience will get all the answers. So, and also it's a very strong moment for Tandy, like a scene when she had been forcing, going down to pick up the injection gun. There was a great suspense in between three of them. It's about betray and about love, there's all the questions all in one scene. And then all of a sudden we see the girl, she inject herself. Then everybody knows what she did is for love. And the one she really loved is Tom. And that became a very dramatic, emotional moment. And also there was the art for Tandy Newton's character. At the beginning, we see her as a thief and a very charming, nice looking girl, and we don't know what's in her mind. But in this scene, we got all the answers, and we know she is in real love, This is also the very critical scene is involved with love, hate, and romance, and dangerous, and crisis, and everything. But the main point for this scene is all about love. So I was more focused on Tandy's, on the camera angle and all the, even though the music all came from her emotion. For the music, it's very interesting about the music. Hans Zimmer and Tom came up with the idea of using some rock music for the scene. And I didn't feel comfortable with that because the rock music didn't provide the emotional element. It only could drive the scene pace faster, but it didn't deliver the emotion. And then Hans Zimmer came up with the idea, how about using the female voice? It will make the scene feel more sad and romantic. I think, oh, it's a good idea. And it's a brand new experiment. We were using the woman's voice in the rock music. So when I seen Tandy Newton, she inject herself, then we came up with the female's voice. And the voice made the audience very emotional and very emotional involved. And I'm so glad the voice worked so beautifully.
It wasn't thinking.
For Ethan Hunt's character, he did some change in this scene. At the beginning of what we saw, Ethan Hunt is charming and enjoy the nature and a lot of great energy. But after he met the girl, he's completely changed, and he had changed to very emotional. And this is pretty risky for the spy movie. You know, the spy usually never in love with anyone, and is not allowed to love anyone. But we want to make a real person, a real hero just like you and me, just like anyone in the world, you know. He had great passion about life, about love. He enjoyed the nature. He enjoyed every beautiful thing. When he's in love, he's in love, you know. And just when he loves somebody, he really loves somebody, and he doesn't care. And he have no rules and no theory. Just do whatever he like, do whatever he feel. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. That kind of character usually interests me because it looks so real, so human, you know. And I want this spy as a real human being. He's not a working machine. That also will make so much different from all those kind of James Bond type film. James Bond is a very interesting character, but every episode, every series, he just look all the same. In this one, you will see Tom Cruise, he getting a lot of change. What he had changed is by love. That make the character somewhat life, somewhat interesting. In the script, there was not much of shooting. Tom just blow up the place, just have a few gunshot with the bad guys, and then he go. But I would like to extend the action a little more because the audience haven't seen Tom to do such a big action before. And by the meantime, Tom's movement is so beautiful. You know, his body movement, especially when he dives in the air, is pretty much like a dancer, you know. This is the first time for me to make a very strong female character driven movie. I wanted to make a female lead film. I like to try a love story. I like to try to make a woman's story. I like to try to make a musical, you know. And I think I'm pretty good at it. And I'm sure I will make as good as the male lead movie. I like romance. I like love, you know. I like all the beautiful thing in the world, you know. So I like to show the beauty on the screen. Not only the faces and also the message about the experience and the themes. Anything beautiful, you know, I just wanted to make.
There's not a chance.
The sound effect guy, Mark, he brilliant. He worked with me in Face Off, and he know my style. I pretty much care about the sound effect. The sound effect is very important in the whole movie. Sometimes you make some boring scenes not that boring. Sometimes you will create some kind of special sound. You make the simple scenes look different.
Yeah, it's better than being broke. I have terrorists and
then I like to do some kind of experiment. For example, for the gunshot. For the hero's gunshot, we have a special sound for it. It wasn't a normal gunshot, I usually like to put 5 or 6 different sounds, put them together to mix in one, and create a new kind of a gunshot. So Mark is very good at it. He put some shotgun and some explosion, some Colt 45 gunshot, and the sound mixed together and create a new and powerful gunshot for the hero. But for the bad guy, it's a different thing. For the bad guy, make it a little more simple and a little more less. For the bad guy, maybe just 2 or 3 sounds, put them together. Some of the scene I would like to go without sound, like the pigeon flying through the burning door and leading Tom come out the shot. The shot I would like to shut down all the sound. Only could hear the little dove flying sound, and the wing sounds will draw a lot more attention. Sound effect is very important. The sound effect sometimes will make the scenes look so much different. And on the set, you could never get a perfect shot. You could never get a perfect scene. Sometimes because of the time or because of the budget, you only could get the major shot done. And then you have to put everything together very cleverly.
time, Mr. McFoy. We have got.
Since there's not enough shot, not enough moment, so the scene, it looked like unfinished. It looked like really plain. But if you could use a very special sound with a sound effect to fill in the hole, or using a sound effect to connect them together, or to use a sound effect as a certain kind of impact, that you will feel the scene seems to be complete. I mean, I would like to use the sound effect to fill in the hole to make it feel like it's all complete.
Sean, transfer completed.
My editors, they're very good about pace, about the rhythm, so every scene is hard to cut it right. There's so many happening in every scene. Every scene needs at least 2 or 3 weeks to get it done. You know, like the opening, the 747 scene, it took 5 weeks. The car chase, it took 6 weeks. Another scene also take a couple of weeks. And motorcycle chase, it took, 5 weeks, So we have to separate 3 groups and each one took care of some of the scene. And that's how we work. And then running around and going back and forth, to work with them and try to put everything all together. Cinema photographer, I must say, I have a great time working with Jeffrey Kimball. He's a great man. He's a funny guy. I love his accents. He's from Texas. When he's talking, it's so funny. He's a very easy to work with. And Jeffrey and I is a kind of a old-fashioned guy. We like to see the movie look like a movie. So he liked everything in a traditional way, like the shadow, the lighting, the light source, where it came from, we are very careful about it. And his lighting is pretty moody. That's what I like. We both like the performance, and he know how to take good care of the actors. I think the great performance came from the actor's eyes. So he worked it out to use a special lighting for the actor's eyes. Usually for the actors, some of them, their eyes pretty dead, I need to see the eyeball. I need to see the tear, I need to see their emotional reaction. The eyes will tell a lot more story. So every shot after he done all the lighting, and usually we have 2 special light just for the eyes. That's how we work. Because he realized that this is not just an action-packed movie. It's a very emotional love story. So he so much care about lighting the eyes and even the camera movement. The camera movement, like I said, it all follow the mood and follow the music. And Jeffrey, he liked contrast. He liked the light and the shadow. It's a very high contrast. And in this movie, we want to make it a very classic romantic tone. So we didn't use much of the blue light. We use a lot of orange and green and more of a natural lighting. For the outdoor, we like a natural light. And even though the interior, we also like to use natural lighting. The motorcycle scenes, Tom go through the fire. It's real. It's a real fire. This guy so lucky his hair didn't get burned. Tom was asking to do it by himself. They were shot by the second unit, so they set up a huge fire. And Tom, he didn't need any protection and didn't use a gel. And he just going in 70 miles per hour and go through the fire and just do it in one shot. Oh, he did it twice, I think. And the shot is so beautiful, when the fire pretty scary, it's pretty big. For the motorcycle spinning shot, we have built a track and make the motorcycle get spinning, but Tom still need to do the real stunt. In this movie, I must say that we have a very strong stunt group. I work with Brian Smurf for 3 movies. He's a very, very good stunt coordinator, and he always came up with a lot of good ideas. He's very well organized about everything, especially when he do the cable thing. He's the expert for the wire and cable. And a lot of the motorcycle shot came from his idea. We also have a great stunt double like Billy and Keith. They are not only good at action, they also help me to choreography all the action sequence. You know, like the fist fights, I work with both of them. We design all the action, and then we fighting each other, you know, try to work it out, the good action for Tom and the Ray Scott. And we also have some of the very good Australian stuntmen to work on this show, you know, like there was a guy, very good at Bruce Lee's type of kicking action, you know, he also helped me to some of the kicking shot, you know. American and the Australian, they both have a lot of great contribution for the film. When I'm designing an action sequence, there are 3 things that's very important. First, I need to know what thing I have never done before and what is a new thing. You know, I always wanted to be over, the others. Like in this movie, let me try the motorcycle chase. The motorcycle seems to be, haven't seen it before, you know, so that's the thing. The second is based on a story. I think that the good action movie should have a great story and a great character. Without a good story, the action means nothing. The third thing is it's based on the actors. I need to know the actors that what they want to do and how much they can do and how much they physically can do. I need to spend some time with the actors. Like in this film, I spent some time with Tom. And then while we are talking, I find he's really a charming guy. He always smile, always laughing. He's so optimistic, and he also have so much great energy. And he like fast. He like everything fast. He like speed. He like airplane. He like motorcycle. He like sport car. You know, everything. And by the meantime, he like Bruce Lee's movie. He like his kung fu. You know, he like the way he fight. You know, that really gave me a very strong idea. So I figured out to use the motorcycle chase. Only the motorcycle could show the real speed, the energy, and emergency, and that kind of thing. And then I started to work on the storyboard and design the whole thing. And actually, in this film, we designed all the action sequence before we got a script. I gave all the actions idea for Robert Towne and let him put it into the script, you know. So that's how we work. And then for the motorcycle sequence, I went to how to make this motorcycles look more interesting. And then I collect the ideas of how about to make it look like the modern Western. Because I'm a big fan of cowboy, you know, and all, you know, horseback and shooting each other. So I was thinking using the motorcycle instead of a horse. The good and evil, they both on a motorcycle, they're shooting at each other just like the cowboy. It's going to be very interesting and very exciting because the motorcycle have so many possibilities and can do any crazy thing. It's not like a car. A car is so limited. You know, all you can do is crash and flip. The motorcycle, you can jump and fly. It gave me a lot of freedom to do whatever I want. I worked with a stunt coordinator, you know, and we came up with the ideas together. And then we hired some motorcycle specialists. from the States and from Australia, and to work out the scene. Of course, for the meantime that I listen to the music, I try to make everything pretty much like dancing, like a musical, I will ask the motorcycle guy to show me the action, what they usually do and how much they can do, So, and then they demonstrate some action for me, like, the motorcycle nose down and heel up, they got all of that stuff. And then, doing the 360 spinning around. Also, they could do the motorcycle burning the tire, create a smoke, that kind of thing. And I found it very interesting. And then I put all those things into the action. For the motorcycle chase to the fist fights, it was really hard to make because the two scene was so complicated and the location was awful. We shot the whole scene up on a cliff and the weather was so bad. It just kept raining every day. All the time we just waiting for the sunlight. Whenever we get a little moment of sunlight, we get a shot right away. And then sometimes we wait the whole day just for nothing. While we are waiting for the sunlight, I told the cameraman, okay, give me the shot of the wave, give me the shot of the close up of the gun, and then it might be useful. And I must tell you, I'm so glad that we got all the shot, all the wave, slow motion, all the shot. When I cut into the scene, it's very helpful. Like a scene when Tom holding a knife, and then we intercut with the wave and Tandy Newton, the which really could build the tension. And also there's something about love, and also make Tom's fight. All his fight is all for love. Another thing that since Tom Cruise, he loved Bruce Lee so much, I said, how about at the end of the fight, you jump up to the air and do the flip using a different speed and different camera angle and intercut with a different kind of flip, and flip and twist and kick the guy. That's look pretty exciting. And he loved it and we would love it. And then we put it into the script. So after the fight, when Tom walked to work to Tandy Newton, we almost give up the shot because we ran out of time and there was no more sunlight. And there was the last day of shooting. But I said that it's going to be a very touching moment because after the fight, we need to see the hero go to, look at the girl and feeling happy to see her, get recover, So that's a very emotional moment. We got to shoot it. And then there was no more sunlight about 7:30 at night. So Jeffrey Kimball, he using a big cloth to block out everything and then they use a special lighting, make it feel like it's the daylight. So actually the shot was shot at night. We wasn't quite sure in the future we will keep the scene or not. We just shot it. But I got a feeling we should have the scene. No matter what, no matter how much over, we got to have this moment. It's very important for both of them. So I was insist to get this shot done. After we finished the whole movie and then I put them together and it worked very well. And we were so lucky to get those shots done. In my movie, sometimes the bad guy seems hard to die, or even the bad guy never die, That's my theory. I just feel, no matter what you do, what you've done, the evil is still alive, still, going on. In this movie, I'm pretty much related to a Tom Cruise character. When I was young, I pretty much like Tom. In the movie, rock climbing, the romance, the love, and the dream. Pretty much like his character. And the other thing is, I hate crime, I hate violence, and I hate evil. I always like to take a challenge over the evil, and I have no fear. So I think the real hero is always care about people. Also, he had a great passion about life, about love, and really care about the people. And he always reaching out a helping hand, and he help the people, whoever they need, and more of a heart. They treat everybody with love. The real hero is never afraid of a challenge. There's so much going on, so much things to do. Never give up, And the real heroes know how to take the responsibility for everything. Not only for the people and also the responsible for the family. The hero is not only work for the others, but the most important thing is work for the family. They know how to take good care of them, love them, helping them. I think this is a real hero. The hero is not about killing people. It's not about how many bad guys you kill, how many things you've done. The thing is how much you really care and how much you really help the others.
I do.
In my movies, I usually like to make the real hero, but sometimes a little bit surreal.
Not exactly.
Because something you want to do is hard to do in the real life. Like you want to fight with a gang, but it's hard to do it, All you could do is on the film, But at least it's a message. At least it's a message for everybody, Just don't give up. If you do the right thing, you'll win, Every movie I make, the ending is pretty sad. I like tragic ending. For my theory, the real romance is it gotta have a little bit sad. But in this film, change it, I just want a happy ending. I just want, Tom and Tandy, they both disappear into the cloud. They're just like anybody else. They are ordinary people. They are no different with the others. So the idea is that they both walking in the cloud and the camera rise up to the whole city Tom and Tandy, these two characters, just like the others, they have their own happy life. So I must say it almost is the first happy ending movie for me.